Here are my top 12 wide receivers in 2025 fantasy football. Number 1, Ja'Marr Chase. Very difficult to argue this one. Ja'Marr Chase coming off the Triple Crown season. We certainly understand that Cincinnati's defense is going to be problematic. So we know that the Bengals with Joe Burrow are going to have to throw the ball early and often. And Ja'Marr Chase, the team has learned to get him in optimal spots to get him open. Not that he needs any help, but we saw the fireworks last year. So yeah, in terms of upside and the team that's going to have to score points, Ja'Marr Chase needs to be that number 1 receiver. Number 2 is Justin Jefferson, but don't sleep on Jefferson, because Jefferson in his healthy seasons, the last 3 of them, he averages over 1,500 yards. That's actually his floor. 1,500 yards in a full season at this point is like worst case scenario. He's done well with Nick Mullins, other bad quarterbacks as well. So with Sam Darnold for that matter. So Justin Jefferson, his floor is actually higher than Ja'Marr Chase's. Over Chase's career, you take out that Superman year Chase had last year. In the other years, Jefferson's floor is way higher. But of course, you're playing with an unknown in quarterback at J.J. McCarthy, a team with a great defense. Maybe they'll be able to run more than they'd like to. So Jefferson is way safer at number 2. But if you got a little bit frisky and you really felt like Chase for some reason was going to regress, it is defensible to move Jefferson ahead of him, but again, number 2 is just fine. Number 3, CeeDee Lamb, Dallas Cowboys, and we love the idea that Dallas is probably going to have to throw the ball all day long. This team does not profile to have a great rushing attack. The defense, a lot of injuries and issues on that side of the ball. This team's going to have to throw, and Dak Prescott's up to the task. And what really helps Lamb, not that he needs help, is that George Pickens is in town. And Prescott's an excellent downfield passer, so defenses will have to pay attention to the big plays, which gives CeeDee Lamb more space than he's gotten in the past with weaker supporting cast. CeeDee Lamb can easily get back to that 1,600-yard range. CeeDee Lamb is a locked-in number 3. Number 4, stunner here. I'm going to go with Drake London. Atlanta Falcons. In the last 6 games last year, London was averaging over 90 yards a game, 11 targets per game. He was being weaponized as that first-round draft pick of the Falcons from a few years back. But then it was those last 3 games, and I know one game was a crazy game, but with Michael Penix, London went up to 117 yards a game, targets went up to 13 a game, and again, I know small sample and one big game in there in Week 18, but still, London is on a team with a bad defense, and Darnell Mooney's hurt already. Kyle Pitts, good luck with that. Drake London is going to be a target monster, and there's no reason to think that he is not going to be able to outscore the competition, and he could even push for better, but wide receiver 4 is aggressive enough. Number 5, Malik Nabers. I put Nabers below London just because of all the uncertainty. The toe injury's been lingering. Then we had a shoulder. Then we heard about a back issue, and maybe he's fine. But uncertainty on draft day is not what I really want when I have a player like London who has been mostly reliable and durable. So I'm going to leave Nabers at number 5. And I do like the fact that the quarterback room, say what you will about him, but it's better than last year's quarterback room. Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart, Jameis Winston. So Nabers has a sky-high ceiling. But again, I am a little bit concerned about the toe injury, etc. So still ranked high, but just be a little bit careful. Number 6, Nico Collins, Houston Texans. And the big question here is health. If Collins is on the field, before he was hurt last year, he was right there with Ja'Marr Chase and wide receiver scoring. Nico Collins is a beast, and he is C.J. Stroud's number 1 target. And we know Collins could put up numbers like few other receivers in the game. But each year of his career, he has missed time. And that is why he's a little bit lower than he might be otherwise in rankings, because there are durability issues, and the timing of the injury could be everything. Other players, anybody could get hurt. But Collins has a track record of showing us it happens each year. So again, highly ranked, but just be careful. If you're enjoying this breakdown, take a second, hit like and subscribe. It helps RotoWire keep fantasy advice coming your way. If you want even more RotoWire's tools, rankings, and insights, we got a 15% discount just for our YouTube viewers. You go to rotowire.com, choose that subscription, use the code YouTube15 at checkout. All right, number 7, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yes, he was a great floor player, and he's been for a while now. 2 years ago, he had that career year with 1,500 yards. I think that was the outlier year. I do have concerns overall for Detroit. That whole interior offensive line's been revamped. The offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, is now head coach of Chicago, and so now it's going to be a little bit different there. Jared Goff may not have the same comfort level. All these playing, but all that said, St. Brown's going to get his targets, and St. Brown is going to have a high floor every week. He may not have the ceiling of many other receivers, even ones that are ranked below him, but the stability and the durability are things that you are going to be excited about if you know you can count on that early in your fantasy football draft. All right, number 8, Puka Nacua. Would like to rank him higher. His talent says to rank him higher. But again, Matthew Stafford, that back injury. If Matthew Stafford is to suffer a setback at some point or not to play, I have very large concerns that Jimmy Garoppolo cannot function this offense at the level it's used to functioning at. Remember, Matthew Stafford often throws the ball before the play is open. I don't think Jimmy G can do that. Puka Nacua could take a big hit for that. And remember, Nacua missed over a month last year. He plays a real physical style of football. He's a great blocker, but he takes a lot of big hits. You see him helped off the field frequently. So there's some underlying durability issues here as well. Number 9, Brian Thomas Jr., Jacksonville Jaguars. And I hope this young man has a massive season, but I'll tell you, it was not good to Trevor Lawrence last year. In the 11 games they played together, Brian Thomas was a fraction of the player he was with Mac Jones. Now, I'm not saying Mac Jones is a good quarterback, but Mac Jones was decisive. And Mac Jones said, even if pressure's coming, I'm throwing the ball to my number 1. And Brian Thomas blew up in the last 6 games. Again, uber targeted by Mac Jones. Well, the problem with Trevor Lawrence is often Trevor Lawrence sees a play breakdown and he doesn't like it. He bails out, throws a bad pass. He just doesn't follow it through. And if that's the case, Brian Thomas may not have that target volume he got with Mac Jones. If it all works out, that's great. There's sky-high upside. Trevor Lawrence scares me a bit. Number 10, A.J. Brown. Now, A.J. Brown has had some hamstring issues. It could just be a minor camp thing. Last year, at the end of the year, you heard he was getting his knee drained regularly. There's concerns. A.J. Brown's a very physical player, still not out of his prime, 28 years old, should be okay there. Philly has a much tougher schedule this year, so the probability of them having in situations to throw the ball more than they did last year are very, very obviously going to be there. Last year, they were able to run late in every game almost, and Brown wasn't needed. Those targets could go up. Missed a little time last year, but his per game numbers were just fine. But if they have to throw more, remember, A.J. Brown has serious upside if he can get those target numbers back up. Number 11, I've got Jaxon Smith-Njigba there. Most of the fantasy community has him significantly lower. I don't see him having competition for targets. Cooper Kupp, he was phased out of Sean McVay's offense last year. If Sean McVay phased out Cooper Kupp, what does that tell you? Kupp is a great blocker, and he may block a lot in Seattle. Jaxon Smith-Njigba is their only reliable pass catcher. And we saw last year, former first-round pick, he knows how to get open. Slot, he'll be fine up on the outside. Sam Darnold may not be great, but he's going to have to throw to somebody. And JSN is going to be his one primary target. Don't be surprised if Smith-Njigba gets 160-plus targets, and that puts him strong. Wide receiver 1. Number 12, I'm going with Garrett Wilson, New York Jets. Last 3 years, between 147 and 168 targets. He's durable. Justin Fields may not be a great passer, but don't forget, just 2 years ago, DJ Moore played 13 games. He played every game, but 13 with Fields. DJ Moore had 1,366 yards and 8 touchdowns. We know from the past, Fields can work with an alpha receiver. Garrett Wilson is the same level of star. Garrett Wilson should have a high floor and a high ceiling.